As a huge proponent of the United States Constitution, I think everyone doesn't really know what's in that document, but I want to talk about one part of it, the Fifth Amendment. In criminal cases, just to refresh your memories, it guarantees the rights to a jury trial, forbids double jeopardy, and will require and protects against self-incrimination. And that's what I want to talk about real quick. The January 6th Select Committee investigating the attack on the U.S. Capitol released transcripts from testimony on several individuals. Now, obviously, like I said before, I'm a proponent of the U.S. Constitution, but I'm also a man who believes in common sense. You don't invoke the Fifth Amendment unless you have something very important to hide. And the people I'm about to talk about here have the most to hide. I read through the transcripts, and there are there are a few people I want to talk about here. The first being Charlie Kirk, a right-wing nut job who hates America because Donald Trump is in power. Now, as you see in some of these on the transcripts, he's going to be asked some very basic questions. He's asked by one of the investigators, "Mr. Kirk, how old are you?" Now, you might think that's a smart-ass question, but you'll get where I'm going with this. He answers, "On advice of counsel, I am invoking my Fifth Amendment right not to testify and decline to answer the question." "In what state do you reside?" Question. Answer. I currently, I live in, I live in currently, I don't know why he said it like this. I live in currently Scottsdale, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. You refuse to answer the first question, but you answer the second one, and then the question is asked, "What is your highest level of education?" Answer. On advice of counsel, I am invoking my Fifth Amendment right not to testify and decline to answer the question. Are you embarrassed that you didn't go to college or something? You didn't get your high school diploma? Is that what you're embarrassed about, Charlie? But here's a question that's just as important. Mr. Kirk, are you founder and executive director of an entity called Turning Point USA, correct? Answer. On the advice of counsel, I am invoking my Fifth Amendment right not to testify. I seriously, seriously, you're not. We know that you're the man who heads Turning Point America. Hell, you speak at every single one of their rallies, along with whatever right wing nut job you can get there. Is that supposed to be a joke? Anyway, moving on. The next person I want to talk about is Nick Fuentes. Now you know who this guy is. He's a right wing Nazi scumbag. Hates women, hates blacks, hates Jews, hates everybody unless they agree with him, considering the fact that he was pounding around with Donald Trump and Kanye Yeezy, whatever the crap his name is called, Kanye West. Anyway, question, Mr. Fuentes, are you currently employed? Uh, Nick. The witness, Nick says, on the advice of counsel and reliance upon the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, I must respectfully refuse to answer that question on the grounds that it may tend to incriminate me. So, telling them where you work would incriminate you? Unless you don't work and you wanted to lie, but you know you couldn't lie, because if you did lie, you would be charged with perjury. Question. Okay, Mr. Fuentes, what is your source of income? Answer. Under advice of counsel, yada 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 blah 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 Fifth Amendment, blah 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 blah. Mr. Fuentes, do you have a role in the American First Foundation? Which he does. Under the advice of counsel, blah 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 blah. Fifth Amendment to the Constitution, blah 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 blah. Refused answer, blah 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 blah. Now, here's the question. Now, Durkin, I guess the Tony, another witness here, Mr. Fuentes, Mr. Durkin, I have a series of questions related to Mr. Fuentes' involvement with the American First Foundation. Is it your intention to assert the Fifth Amendment in response to any question the committee might have about your involvement with the first, with the American First Foundation? Mr. Durkin, yes. The witness, yes. Oh boy. Oh man. It's the OJ trial all over again. More on that in a few minutes, but let's go to Mr. Roger Stone, the guy who has Nixon tattooed on his back, a guy who looks like Mr. fucking Magoo, a guy who said fuck them, screw them, fuck them, we won the election, fuck them, when asked if the election was settled. Anyway, I'd like to ask Mr. Stone whether you believe that coups are allowed in our constitutional system. This should be an easy answer for any man in this country. The answer should be no. But the witness, Mr. Stone, says, I most definitely decline to respond to your question based on my Fifth Amendment Constitution protections with all due respect. Therefore, I will not answer the question on the basis of the Fifth Amendment. Oh, you respectfully do not answer. Do you believe violent insurrections are allowed in our constitutional system? Roger Stone responds, I respectfully decline your answer to your question on the basis of my Fifth Amendment rights. Oh, you respectfully? Goody. Question. Do you believe fascist street violence is allowed in our constitutional system? Answer. I respectfully decline to answer your question based on my Fifth Amendment rights. Oh, God. What else could go wrong with these people? It's bad. If you thought that was bad, it just keeps getting worse. And here's Kelly Ward, leader of the Republican Party in the state of Arizona, probably the same clown who's telling Kari Lake to push her lawsuit. A woman who went on a Trump rally and said, I'm part of the MAGA mafia. Whatever. Do you recognize this document? Question. Answer is no. Okay, she answered that one. And okay. Well, yes, I mean, I can see that. Wait a minute. Her lawyer interferes and says, I advise Dr. Ward to assert her Fifth Amendment privilege. Now, let's skip down. Dr. Ward, do you understand that you're appearing here today pursuant to a subpoena issued by the Select Committee dated February 15th, 2022? Her answer, I rely on my Fifth Amendment privilege. Dr. Ward, are you declining to answer our questions today based on the Fifth Amendment because you reasonably believe that your factual responses to specific questions may tend to incriminate you? Her answer, I rely on my Fifth Amendment privilege. Dr. Ward, I mean, here's the thing, though. Here's the joke to this whole thing in this next section. Dr. Ward, let me just read you the relevant sections of the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution so you can confirm for us that this is the provision of the Fifth Amendment that you're relying on today for your objections. So the Fifth Amendment in relevant parts reads, no person shall be compelled to, in any criminal case, to be a witness against himself. Is this the provision of the Fifth Amendment that you are asserting as a privilege against your testimony today? Her answer, I reserve my Fifth Amendment privilege. You can't even answer the question as to what part of the Fifth Amendment that you're using? This woman, in fact, all of them have something really huge to hide. But I have to read this here. Kelly Ward, AZ. Are you the individual that posts through that Twitter account? Answer. I reserve my Fifth Amendment privilege. Dr. Ward, were you also aware of another Twitter account that posts with the name AZGOP? Are you an individual with control over posts under that account? Answer. I reserve my Fifth Amendment privilege. Dr. Ward, can you tell us a little bit about your... Here's another joke here. Dr. Ward, can you tell us a little bit about your professional background? Where did you attend undergraduate and graduate education? I reserve my Fifth Amendment privilege. Did you graduate from Duke University? I rely on my Fifth Amendment privilege. And it keeps going on like this for all the Trump witnesses because every single one of them has something to hide. And we definitely know that General Michael Flynn has everything to hide. Yeah, that Michael Flynn, the disgraced U.S. Army general, the man who should be in prison now, the man who wanted Donald Trump to invoke martial law to stay in power. Now, I'm not going to go through his transcripts because they're too long, and all he's going to say is fifth, fifth, fifth. Did you encourage the January 6th insurrection? Fifth. Did you contact Donald Trump at that time? Fifth. Do you like having sex with boys? Fifth. Do you like fucking little girls? Fifth. Okay, now those two questions I made up. But it just shows me, it should show me and should show all of you that every single one of these people have something to hide. Because they are up to their ass in this thing. And don't worry, Flynn, you're next. Don't worry. Don't think I've forgotten about you, you traitorous bastard. My next candy ass video, well, one of my next candy ass videos will have your name all over it. So don't worry, Flynn. I haven't forgotten about you. I haven't forgotten about you by a damn sight. And for the rest of you clowns. Now, I made reference to Mark Furman, the former LAPD detective in the case of O.J. Simpson back in the 1990s. And this illustrates that perfectly. If you have nothing to hide, if you did absolutely nothing wrong whatsoever, you would tell the truth 100%. They did not. When Mark Furman was asked during the O.J. Simpson trial, did you plant evidence during this investigation? He said, I reserve my Fifth Amendment privilege. For police officers, when you're asked a question like that, the answer is always supposed to be no. But instead, O.J. Simpson's lawyers, John Cochran, heaven rest his soul, among them, planted the seed of doubt inside the jury's heads, and O.J. Simpson got off scot-free. Now, every single person that I mentioned in this video who testified before the January 6th committee, under oath, now maybe they may not have something to hide. Maybe they were just stupid. Excuse me. However, we have evidence against them saying that yes, they did do all this. Yes, they were involved. Yes, they are guilty. So here are the facts. This is just the tip of a very huge iceberg. One, if not all of these people are going down for this. Because a 5-year-old can get a smartphone, get on Google, and just look up Charlie Kirk, look up Nick Fuentes, and you're going to see all the facts lit all over them. You can look up Michael Flynn. You can look up Roger Stone, and all the evidence will be on their heads. So you can invoke the Fifth Amendment all you want, and yes, it is your constitutional right. However, it makes you look incredibly guilty in this kind of trial. It didn't work for Mark Furman. It's not going to work now. Grow some balls. The same balls you like that all of you Republicans say you got. Because you got Donald Trump on your side. You got God on your side. No, you don't. Donald Trump is going to sell you out at some point. And if you don't think he's going to, then you're just as stupid as all of us know you are. So here are the facts. Donald Trump is going down for this. Because sooner or later, one of these people are going to talk. They're going to say, yes, I did all of what you said I did because it happens to be true. And as for you, Trump, don't count on silence too long. Sooner or later, someone talks. Someone always talks. And who knows, it may be one of these people. You're done, Trump. Get used to it. CTP Know The Truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.